Right now, somewhere in the world, someone is talking to their dog, saying something like, "Come here, baby. Who's a good boy? Do you want to go outside?" And that dog is tilting their head, wagging their tail, maybe even barking back. And the owner is thinking, "Ah, they love the sound of my voice." But here's the thing. Your dog is not just hearing sound. Their brain is doing something so complex, so layered, and so eerily similar to what your own brain does that when scientists finally looked inside, they did not just find a cute reaction. They found a language processor. And what it is doing with your words is going to change every conversation you have with your dog from this point forward. Let us start with something most people get wrong. A lot of owners assume their dog only understands a few words: sit, stay, walk, treat, maybe their name, and sure, those are the obvious ones. But researchers wanted to know the actual number. Not what we assume, but what the data says. A study out of Dalhousie University in Canada surveyed dog owners across a wide range of breeds and asked them to identify every word or phrase their dog responded to consistently. Not just obeyed, but clearly recognized. Perked ears, tail movement, a change in behavior, something measurable. The average came out to about 89 words, but the range was massive. Some dogs responded to as few as 15. Others responded to over 200. And this was just the average household dog. No special training, no research program. Just a regular family pet picking up language from daily life. Now compare that to what happens when a dog gets dedicated training. A border collie named Chaser, trained by a retired psychology professor named John Pilley, learned the names of over 1,000 objects. 1,022 to be exact. And she did not just memorize sounds. She understood that names referred to specific objects. She could retrieve a specific toy from a pile of dozens based only on its name. She understood verbs. She understood categories. She could even figure out the name of a brand new object she had never seen before, simply by ruling out all the ones she already knew. That is a cognitive process called inference by exclusion. And it is the same process a human toddler uses when learning new words. A dog was doing it. But here is where it gets deeper. Because knowing words is one thing, and what matters more is how the brain handles them. And this is where scientists uncovered something nobody expected. A team of researchers at Eotvos Lorand University in Budapest, led by a neuroscientist named Attila Andix, trained dogs to lie completely still inside an fMRI brain scanner. If you have ever had an MRI, you know how loud and uncomfortable it can be. These dogs were trained over months to stay perfectly motionless while their brains were scanned. And what the researchers did next was elegant. They played recordings of a trainer speaking to the dogs. Sometimes the trainer used real praise words like "good boy" in a happy, enthusiastic tone. Sometimes they used the same praise words in a flat, neutral tone. Sometimes they used meaningless filler words in a happy tone. And sometimes it was meaningless words in a flat tone. 4 combinations. Real words with real emotion. Real words with no emotion. Fake words with real emotion. And fake words with no emotion. What they found was remarkable. The dogs processed the meaning of the word and the tone of voice in 2 completely different parts of the brain. The left hemisphere responded to the actual word, the vocabulary, the meaning, regardless of how it was said. The right hemisphere responded to the intonation, the emotional music of the voice, regardless of what the word actually was. 2 separate systems, working in parallel, just like the human brain does during speech processing. And here's the part that really matters. The reward center of the dog's brain, the part that lights up when something genuinely feels good, only activated when both sides matched. When the word was real praise and the tone was genuinely enthusiastic, the dog's brain lit up with pleasure. But when you said "good boy" in a flat voice, the left hemisphere recognized the word, but the reward center stayed dark. And when you said a random meaningless word in a cheerful voice, the right hemisphere picked up the happy tone, but again, no reward activation. The dog needed both. The right word said the right way. Anything less, and their brain knew the difference. Think about what that means for a second. Your dog is not just hearing noise. They are running your voice through a dual processing system that separates content from delivery and only gives you full credit when both channels line up. They are fact-checking your enthusiasm. And it does not stop at words. Your dog is also processing the raw emotional texture of your voice in ways that have nothing to do with vocabulary at all. A separate study, also led by Andix, scanned the brains of both dogs and humans while they listened to a range of sounds. Laughter, crying, playful barks, whimpers, and neutral noises. What they found was that dogs have a dedicated region in their brain, in the temporal cortex, that responds specifically to emotionally charged voices. And the response was graded. The more intense the emotion in the sound, the stronger the brain activity. A loud, joyful laugh triggered a bigger response than a quiet chuckle. A desperate cry triggered more activity than a mild whimper. And the most striking part was this. That same brain region, in nearly the same location, was found in humans too. Both species had evolved a neural zone dedicated to reading emotional weight and vocal sounds. Dogs and humans, separated by millions of years of evolution, developed the same tool for the same job, decoding what a voice really means beneath the words. This is why your dog knows you're upset before you have even told anyone. You think you're hiding it. Your words say everything is fine, but your voice carries micro-patterns, tiny shifts in pitch, rhythm, speed, and tension that your dog's brain picks up and processes automatically. They are not guessing. They are listening to a layer of your voice that most humans do not even consciously register. Researchers have also found that dogs respond differently to positive and negative vocal emotions at a behavioral level, not just a brain level. When dogs hear sounds associated with human distress, like crying, they show measurable increases in stress behaviors. They pace, they whine, they orient toward the source of the sound. When they hear laughter or cheerful speech, they relax. Their body posture loosens. Their tail behavior changes. They are not just detecting the emotion. Their own emotional state shifts in response. Your sadness becomes their unease. Your joy becomes their calm. There is a word for this in psychology: emotional contagion. It is the same mechanism that causes a human baby to cry when they hear another baby crying. And dogs do it with human voices. Not dog voices, human voices. They are tuned to us in a way that goes beyond training or conditioning. It is wired into their neurology. And here is one more layer that most people never think about. Your dog does not just hear your words and your tone. They hear you, specifically you. Research has shown that dogs can distinguish their owner's voice from a stranger's voice, even when both are saying the same words in the same tone. Their brain responds differently to your voice than to anyone else's. You're not just a source of language. You are a specific signal that their entire auditory system is calibrated to prioritize. So let us put all of this together. When you walk into a room and say, "Hey buddy, how are you doing?" your dog's brain does the following, all within a fraction of a second. The left hemisphere isolates the words and checks them against a mental vocabulary that could be anywhere from 15 to over 200 entries deep. The right hemisphere reads the emotional tone and maps it against a spectrum from distress to joy. A specialized region in the temporal cortex weighs the intensity of that emotion. The brain cross references the word meaning and the tone to decide if they match, and only then does the reward center fire. And underneath all of that, their brain recognizes your specific voice as a distinct signal, separate from every other human on the planet. All of that in the time it takes you to say 4 words. Your dog is not just listening to you. They are analyzing you. They are parsing your speech like a translator working 2 channels at once. They are measuring your sincerity. They are reading your emotional state. And they are doing all of this every single time you open your mouth. So the next time you talk to your dog, and I know you do, because we all do, remember this. They hear the words. They hear the feeling behind the words. They hear whether those 2 things match. And they hear that it is you saying them. That is not a pet hearing noise. That is a mind shaped by thousands of years of living beside ours, doing exactly what it was built to do, listening, understanding, and caring about what it hears. If this changed the way you think about talking to your dog, subscribe and turn on notifications. We break down what science actually knows about the animals sleeping at your feet. And most of it is more incredible than you would ever guess. I will see you in the next one.